Hello, so I have a proof of concept video on a special kind of lock. There's locks that exist in Minecraft that are item frame locks or lectern locks. Essentially, this one I'm next to, but like you turn to different pages and so on. But usually what these have are multiple so that you can put in multiple combinations, otherwise you just flip through the pages and boom, you're done. I have figured out a way that you can actually just use one. I figured out a few ways. This was my first design. It's the item frame lock, and it's a little more complicated than a normal one. The blue circuit checks the combination. So if I go to the right pin, I forget which one this is, what the combination is, but if you go to the right pin, it will add, well, it will keep track, so it drops one stick into this hopper, and the hopper is currently locked, so it will keep track of how many you've gotten right. And you can see the yellow locks the door. What makes it special is this system right here. So if you look right up in this corner, level 0, you can see what combination is put into this. The composters will be pushed by the pistons. They're about the only block that has 8 levels that can be pushed. And this feed tape keeps memory. So every time you get, well, actually not every time you get something right, because it pulses even if you get it wrong. It just doesn't keep track that you got it right. Whenever you remove the item, that's what makes this special, because other designs I've seen like this have a button. Whenever you remove the item, it makes this return as 0, but the delay in this system keeps the check through all the way out, and this cyan line pulses to, well, pulse the feed tape and stop this circuit from clearing this out, so it will allow the correct value to go through. And so this is a big circuit. The feed tape can be made bigger, and there's a few more circuits in here that do other things. The green, oh yeah, it looks at the redstone block and it essentially allows you to reset where the circuit is. And same thing here, this is the reset line, so when this block is pushed over here, it will just clock the feed tape, so it will go until the redstone block is in that position, and then it will stop pulsing, and it starts clocking whenever the red circuit, the reset line, goes through. And okay, magenta line, oh yeah, every time the green goes on, so every time it goes through one cycle, the magenta line sort of takes advantage of the red to go through and clear out this hopper. So essentially, after a whole cycle, it won't it will forget everything that you've gotten right. That way you can't just keep entering the same pin over and over again and take advantage of it. So I think I remember the combination. All you do, because I'm in creative, I'm going to get that, but in survival it will drop out at you. Go to the first combination. You can hear it pulsing. Now, but that doesn't mean I got it right. What means I got it right is 3 sticks. Up, down, left, right. And you can see it went through. Now, if you want to clear it out, take it out, pause. You heard the piston, you saw the door shut, but normally you'll just hear the piston, put it back in, and you'll see this cycles. I'm gonna show you that in a different way. So the redstone block's not right there. You heard the piston, put it back in, and now that actually will go a while. You can see the redstone block And you see that the magenta helps to clear out this hopper. And yeah, this is exactly the same. I just made a larger feed tape. Clear it out just so I know it's good. The larger the feed tape, the longer this takes. It's audible, it takes a while. That's one of the main downfalls of this design. There's another, which I'll explain later, but we'll get to that. Okay, so it's cleared. What was it? Up, 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 down, down, left, right, left, right. Yep, and that was a combination. Just clear it out real quick again. But yeah, so downfalls to this: large feed tape, loud, can be a little slow if you're trying to clear it or if you're even just waiting for the next pin. After this, I looked at some other designs people had. All of them used a button, which I don't like because it's clear. There's a button there. I wanted this to be a little different. So here's the next design. Still an item frame, but it's a little more compact and it tiles. Same thing if you go to the first combination. I think this is still up. Notice no sound at all, but you can see. Nope. Okay, I must have gotten the combination wrong. What is this combination? 0, 1, 2. Oh, it's seriously just a cycle. Okay. Okay, yeah, and so once you get the first pin right, this will light up, and then this will light up, and then this will light up, and then this will light up. So if I go to the next, you can see that this second one's lit up, and this first one's turned off. The first one turned off because it wasn't the right pin for that one. Yeah, so that's pretty fast, pretty silent, and tileable. It can go pretty far. After a while, the delay in this carry line can get a little too much. But I'll quickly explain how this works. There's no real clear. So this blue carries the signal all the way down and checks it to the appropriate composters. So I just had to figure out how to compact everything down. And the orange line is to check it. So if you get the first pin right, well, first off, this repeater won't be clearing out that comparator. And the cyan line pulses to say check the combination. And so if you have the first pin right, this will turn on. Then if you have the second pin, that will turn on, but you don't have the first pin right anymore because it's a different number, so that will turn off, but it still carries through. And then it will carry through again, and if you get it wrong, it won't carry through, it will just terminate. And this doesn't require a reset because even if you're halfway through a combination, if you start entering the right one, it will just remember that. So it doesn't actually have a starting place. Mildly lowers its security, but not by a whole lot, and I can work on something to fix that up. When you remove the item, this torch will turn off. No, sorry, this torch will turn on, which triggers this monostable circuit. I try to keep it silent with just comparators and repeaters, and that turns on the cyan line, which unlocks these repeaters and allows it. It's just a single tick pulse, but it allows the entire signal to propagate down if you have the right combination. You can expand this starting in the center so you can get the delay, because I said down here if you expand it further out, the delay gets a little too great. Can cause some problems. if you put it in the middle, the delay is sort of like evened out. And this shows us one of the problems. First, it starts down here, as you can see with the orange. There's the torch. So it propagates all the way down and unlocks the door. So if I just enter this in real quick. And that entered through quite nicely. It's pretty fast. I actually entered that faster than you can do in survival, but because you have to collect the item. But as we can see here, this one's a furnace. I've been using composters because they have 8 levels, but it's not that nice because if I collect one right here and start filling this up, you can see on the side there's level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It doesn't stay at 7, which is the last spot on the item frame. So you can't actually store this last one. You have to use a furnace. Or you could just use furnaces all the way through. I'm just still using them from the feed tape. And so, let's see. After that, well, I was quite happy with it. So, perks of this design: tileable, pretty small, pretty compact. It's completely silent, and there's no buttons. So this is discrete. The other designs that I've seen, they have a button, and you trigger it. You can see that there's a redstone circuit. Here, people have item frames all the time. You just have a single item frame. You go through the combination, and doesn't have to look too hidden or secretive. And you can even have your door hidden, not like this. This is clear. There's a door. And yeah, so you can actually do the same thing with lecterns. I seriously just took the exact same circuit, put furnaces this time because you can store more values. You can store 15, so it's actually more secure. And so you just take the book from it to do this combination, and it's literally the exact same circuit. So I'm actually going to go in survival for this one. Okay, I didn't enter that too fast. Okay, so as you saw, I typed in the combination and it opened up. And you can do that pretty fast. You can do it faster than the item frames because I don't think you have to, yeah, no, you don't have to pick up the item. I'm just gonna close. And, the second design with the lectern, I actually like this one. It doesn't require you to remove the item at all. All it is the exact same design, it's just a little change to the cyan line. So, whoops. Great. Let me go back up. So, 3, 1, 4, 1. It's just as easy as that. You can work on the timings a little bit, but essentially, because the lectern gives a pulse every time the book changes, right down here, this pulse extender picks that up, and if you haven't turned a page in the past, I don't know how long this goes for, then this monostable circuit will pulse. So once this turns off, that will pulse. And again, by changing this, you can decrease, you can decrease the amount of time you have to wait for. And everything else works the exact same way. It's just the cyan line when it checks the combination. Clear that out. Yeah. So this is the concept I had. I quite like it, the fact that you can have all of these combinations. I probably don't want to build with this one. Oh, that's right. I mentioned earlier how you have to use furnace for the last one. Because this is a feed tape design, you can't use a furnace. Furnaces can't be pushed. I think in Bedrock, some things can be pushed by pistons, but right now you just have to, you can't have any pins with this orientation. It doesn't work. You can actually do this with the lectern too, but again, why? You can't push anything with a value larger than 8, so you can't use all the books, all the pages, and it's also slow and loud. But this tileable design is quite nice. All in all though, single item frame, single lectern, absolutely no buttons, no visible redstone items, and I'd say this is probably one of the most hidden designs you can get. Yeah. Maybe later I'll release a tutorial on this design, the either one, the lectern or the item frame, but this tileable design because it's pretty much the same for both. And thank you for watching.